This is how we use Predictwind, A Raymarine Chart Plotter, and the Iridium GO to get weather at sea. This video is a bit different than our past videos, so leave a comment down below if you like it or dislike it. And if you'd like to see more like this, more how-to videos or more sailing videos, be sure to subscribe too if you like it. Hello, my name is Rebecca Childress, and I'm sailing around the world on my Valiant 40 brick house. As many of you know, my husband just recently passed away. You can see the details of that in my last video called Patrick's Last Storm. I do plan to continue on my journey and my cruising lifestyle, so I hope you'll subscribe and keep watching to follow that journey with me. And I appreciate all the advice and the comments that I got in the last video, and please keep them coming because I need all the help I can get. Consequently, this video, interestingly, this was the last video that Patrick ever filmed, or actually ever edited. I do have lots of other clips from him, but this is the last one that he edited. And funny enough, he does not appear in the video at all. So it's almost like he was maybe passing the torch. So let's get on with it. Sleepy. But anyway, I'm up now, and Patrick has asked me to get a current weather update. We've been out for 24 hours from East London now and going to Cape Town, and we need to figure out what kind of weather lies ahead, if there's any changes, because if it changes to southwest, we got to tuck in someplace. So we're going to go. You want to get in the picture too, huh? Get your tail down. On our Raymarine Chart Plotter with our Iridium GO, we're going to go to apps, and yes, we're going to go to Predictwind Offshore. My three favorite things are all combined now. It's so cool. So what we're going to do is, just like on the iPad, it's the same exact on the Raymarine Chart Plotter. We're going to go to Grid Offshore. That's how I always start. I'm going to choose my area. We're right there where the green arrow is to start and the red arrow to end. And I'm going to select an area that's going to include my beginning and end. So that'll be the area that it gets. Okay, so then what we're going to do, just like we do on the iPad or on the application on the desktop or laptop, I'm going to not get the high-res grids because that's just going to be too much data to try to download on an Iridium GO. I'm going to enable the offshore grids, the offshore grid settings. I'm going to change it to 6 hours just so we get a better idea. And we're going to get all the forecast models. I like to get all 4 forecast models just because PWG, PWE, GFS, and ECMWF. I want to get all models because I want to be able to compare them to see if there's any differences. So if there's any difference in any of them, that means there's some uncertainty, and we should beware. Be ready for surprises. But if all 4 of them say the same thing, we are good to go if it's showing what we want to see. So we're going to get all models. We're going to get them every 6 hours. We're going to get it for 7 days just to see if we need to be in any hurry. And we could do 50 or 100 kilometer resolution. I'm going to do the 100 kilometer resolution again to make the file smaller. It's just a lesser resolution, so it's a smaller file. We're going to ask for wind, pressure, rain, waves, gusts, cape, which is the possibility of thunderstorms and squalls. I don't want the temperature, and I don't want the clouds. All in an effort to make the file smaller. So then we're not going to get the currents. We already have the currents for when we were hooked onto the internet. So I already have the ocean currents for this area, and they're not significant on this coast in this area this week. But if you watch the last episode, they were huge on the wild coast of Africa right before East London, and it proved critical in that episode to both find the best currents and then find the best way out of them. And these tend to be bigger files, so you want to get them before you go to sea, but you can get small areas if you want when you're at sea. I'm just not going to because I have enough. I'm not gonna, yeah, I'll do the weather routing, just the standard weather routing. I don't want the text forecast, the GMDSS forecast is a text forecast. I don't really want that. And I don't want the satellite imagery, although it's very small, so very easy to get, but I don't need to know the whole ocean, what's going on. And the GPS tracking, this is important. The first time that I tried to do this, I asked for the GPS tracking, and because I hadn't done it before on the internet, it wanted to download all my tracking for the last 2 years of having the Iridium GO, and it was going to be huge, and it just made everything stop and I couldn't get anything. So if you're going to do this on the chart plotter, do it first while you're connected to the internet, and then you can keep doing it with the Iridium GO. And then I'm just going to go continue to downloads. They say the size is 55 kilobytes, so no problem. I can get that quite easily. That'll not even take very long. So I'm going to continue to download. And I'm just going to make sure up here that it's not connected to web or satellite, which I might use when I have cellular connectivity or other kind of internet. And I'm going to choose Iridium GO. I'm already connected to the Iridium GO. The Raymarine Chart Plotter itself is Wi-Fi enabled, and it's connected to the Iridium GO already over here. That must happen before you use the Iridium GO to connect, or it'll just be confused and not know why you're asking it to do that. So I'm just going to do download all, and you'll see up here I have a signal strength of 5, which is the best that you can have, and that's because I have the Predictwind marine package with the external antenna outside on the stern. And it's attempting to dial now. And you can see over on the Iridium GO that it is attempting a call, an internet call, and we can see that the Wi-Fi name here is indeed the Iridium. If it said connected to my, cellular, I would know choosing Iridium GO would give me a problem. It has to say up here your Wi-Fi name of your Iridium GO. So it's connected now, and it is asking for the weather routing. And what's nice is that's not taking place over the internet, it's taking place on the Predictwind server, and then when it's finished, after you get a couple more of these downloads down, all of a sudden it'll start downloading the information, so it's not data intensive. So this will probably take, with 50 kilobytes, I'd expect it to take 5 or 7 minutes, but I do have separate files, so it might take a little bit longer to go from file to file. So let me turn off the camera for a minute. Okay, so now it just says ready to connect. It's got everything downloaded. Everything's grayed out. There's no download all. There's no stop. There's no start. We got everything we needed all the way down. If there was more, it would scroll down to even more things. The blue line underneath the file names and the green check mark to the right of those blue lines show that it's all downloaded. So we're going to go ahead and close that. And we're going to go to the map. And then you'll see the 4 lines are the 4 routes for the 4 different forecasts. Let me get rid of showing the routes so we can see what the weather itself is. So here we are sailing right outside of Nyasna, South Africa. We're right outside here going past, completing our passage from East London up here to Cape Town. So we can see the weather is all, the wind is behind us, and we can look at the wind 3 different ways depending on what your style is. This is kind of like a animated way of seeing it. We can go to here and just have wind arrows like you might be familiar with Gribs, or just regular old arrows if you don't even like reading the Grib type files. Either way, you can see that the wind is behind us. And if we go ahead and progress it, the wind is staying behind us. Quite a bit of wind. Let's see how much right here. 26 knots. We can see that no matter where we are on the route, if we slow down, if we catch a fish, whatever, the wind is just going to be decreasing. Now we're right around 14 knots. So there's no wind coming against us anytime soon. We have beautiful weather. That's Tuesday, Wednesday. Okay, so right about there. Right about there on Wednesday, the 4th of March, that's when it's going to start being against us. And is it going to be real strong? Well, 17 knots, I don't want to sail against that, so we'll probably take refuge if we're not into Cape Town by Wednesday. But considering that it's Friday and we only have about 200 or 300 miles to go, we'll probably get in no problem at all. Let's turn the route back on again, and you'll be able to see It's taking us up to here. I put the end arrow at the wrong spot. The end arrow really belongs here. But if we start now, we can watch the little boats move along on each one of the suggested routes according to that. The little boats are right here moving along. And even if we go a little slower or a little faster, there's no dangers on any of the forecast models so far. And then we get into Cape Town right about there, and the weather's still nice for another 2 days. So that's the GFS model. Let's look at the ECMWF model. Go back to where we are. Many people say it's the best model there is, but I like to look at all 4 models and make sure that there's no disagreements. I can go to PWG, which is the Predictwind proprietary model. Let's check what they have to say. Everything looks about the same on all the models, doesn't it? That's why they're all taking just about the same route. Nobody's going way out, nobody's going way in. And they're still saying that even if we dawdle, plenty of time. And then last but not least, the PWE model. We see the boats coming along here. All 4 boats. No matter what route we take, no matter if we go too slow or too fast, there's nothing bad ahead of us. So we're good. We're good, honey. Keep going. We don't have to go in yet. Okay, I have a challenge for you. Leave a comment down below if you know of another weather forecasting program that will give 4 weather models without an internet connection, as well as ocean currents for when you want to get weather and currents at sea. There are sailing apps out there where you can get a single forecast model over the Iridium GO, and there are weather apps to get weather while sitting in port with an internet connection. But I think Predictwind is the best and quite possibly the only sailing app that can get 4 really great forecasts and ocean currents while at sea. Even if you're stuck at the dock right now, download a free version of Predictwind Offshore. Not just the Predictwind app for sailing in your local harbor. Get the offshore version and get to know it well. There's a link below to sign up for a free or paid version. Make sure to watch Predictwind's whole host of videos on how to use Predictwind and understand the weather forecasts and ocean currents they offer. This is just basic usage of how we use the Iridium GO and Predictwind on our Raymarine Chart Plotter, and there are often other things you would want to download depending on the location and scope of your offshore passages. It's just so awesome that my 3 favorite bits of marine electronics are now completely integrated with each other. So Kawadi and I both think that the Raymarine Chart Plotter with the Predictwind and Iridium GO are like better than sliced fish. So let us know what you think in the comments down below. We'd love to hear if you feel the same way.